There's a lot of how-to videos out there on YouTube that talk about proper deadlifting form and technique. And while all those things are incredibly important to safely perform deadlifts, there's one aspect of the lift that I think is not talked about very much, and that's what we're gonna talk about here today, and that is your approach. You'll see videos all the time on Instagram and YouTube of people running up to the bar and slapping themselves in the chest and slapping themselves in the face and just grabbing the bar and ripping it off the ground. And while it may work sometimes, it's not gonna keep you safe, and you're not gonna be as consistent lifting like that. My biggest piece of advice is make every single rep you do look the exact same. What I mean by that, whether you're warming up with just the bar, make your approach, make every single aspect of your lift, your cues, focusing on when you're pushing, when you're pulling, everything the exact same at every single set. Every warm-up set, every working set, keep it consistent, and that'll make you a more consistent and safer lifter. All right, so let's give some examples of what I mean. So I just finished my final working set. I'm done doing deadlifts for the day, but let's talk about my approach. So what I mean by approach are a few different things. One, the time that you take in between sets is a huge aspect of that. Keeping it as consistent as possible. When I'm done, I start a timer. So depending on where I'm at in my program, my time will vary anywhere between minute 45 and 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So somewhere in there between sets. The second thing is how we get up to the bar, and then the time we take from when we step up to the bar till when we lift it from the ground. So let's go over what I'm talking about. You're only as good as your foundation. Set your feet first. Make sure the bar isn't crooked. Make sure it's up against your legs. Your toes are square across the front. Your foundation is set. The only thing that's gonna change your approach or timing are accessories. So for example, a belt, tightening down your belt and when to do that is gonna change the time that you take to get up and do your lift. Smelling salts is gonna change the time. I keep mine in a bag. These are by Jujumufu. I recommend, but I don't recommend, if that makes sense. They'll light you up. But I'll give you some examples. So let's say I'm about to do this lift, or let's say I'm about to go a little heavier, so I'll need the salts, okay? I'll have my belt set to the first loop, so it's not tight at all. I wanna wait as long as I can before I tighten down my belt so I'm not restricting my airflow. I'll get my feet set on the bar, make sure I'm even. I'm not, obviously this bar's offset a little, but make sure my feet are set, my foundation is set. I'm not gonna change my stance at all. Pop these suckers open, cry a little bit, tighten them down, catch my breath, inhale. I exhale completely before I tighten this down. I tighten my belt down and then I inhale into it. That is gonna force our bracing, which is the whole point of a belt. And then I'm gonna take a big breath in and proceed with the lift. All right, lastly, just a quick reminder when you wanna take off all your weights, if you don't have something like this, which you just prop up, and then you can just dump everything. That works very nice. If you don't have that, grab a little plate and you put it underneath the closest inside one. Whoa, gosh. And now that's up and you can strip your bar here. A little tip how to get all that off a little bit quicker instead of taking it off plate by plate. To wrap up everything, just remember, be consistent. Consistent with the time that you allow in between sets, consistent in the time from when you stand up to the bar to when you lift it up, consistent in your bracing, your pulling cues, everything. Start off with your very first set of the day just with the bar. The same way you're gonna wanna finish your last set with a hell of a lot more weight. Do everything consistent and the work will pay off and you'll be safer, and that's what's most important. Hope you guys learned something from today's video. Love you guys. God bless.